Today, my guests are Brenda Miller, the Director of Instructional Accountability, and Leslie Silbernagel, Supervisor of Innovation and Instructional Technology. Brenda, Leslie, I welcome you both to SuperChat. Brenda, let me turn to you first. For the benefit of our listeners, could you describe for me what your duties and responsibilities involve as the Director of Instructional Accountability?
Sure, Gary. So I'm responsible for overseeing teaching and learning, primarily at our secondary buildings, so our middle school and high schools. It's my job to make sure that our principals and our teachers have the materials that they need to do their jobs, but also to provide them with the professional learning and development experiences they need to facilitate experiences for our students that are engaging, rigorous, personalized, differentiated, and literacy rich. Additionally, as the accountability director, I also oversee all of the reporting that we do to the state of Ohio, including all state and local testing.
So would that include making sure that what is happening at a classroom level is in conformance with the state curriculum? And I'm sure that is decided at a group level, but you kind of monitor that to make sure that you're in conformance?
Yes, I work with our building principals and assistant principals. I work with teacher teams, and one of our primary charges is to make sure that we're following the state's model curriculum.
Do you get involved at all with monitoring instructional staffs like effectiveness and like rankings and ratings, or is that a separate system?
So I do, as the accountability director, I do receive all of that data that comes from our state testing, but I also make it a point to be active and involved in the classroom so that I'm seeing firsthand what's happening, and I'm able to give feedback to the principals as well as to the teachers.
Well, what are some of the challenges you face with maintaining curriculum conformance and dealing with basic literacy?
So we've really chosen to focus on literacy in our district. We believe that it's critical to students' success in school and beyond. We define literacy broadly as a district. We talk about students' ability to read, to write, to listen, to speak, and to think. We know that these skills are game changers for our kids. Some of the challenges we would face in a district, or we do face in a district this size, is, it's very difficult for all of us to try to do the same thing. We need to trust that we have put the right people in the right seats, and that our building principals are actively ensuring that high quality instruction is occurring in every classroom.
Mm-hmm. Now, aside from the state-required testing, which I think would be the AIR test for your students, what are the major assessment tools you and the teachers use to measure individual student learning outcomes?
Sure. So we have a system of assessments, right? We have assessments that our teachers are doing in the classroom to inform instruction. We have assessments that we give to help us in terms of figuring out whether students have mastered what they learned. So we have some assessments that are common across the district that our teachers have created along with our curriculum department. We do use the NWEA MAP assessments kind of as a national reference, as well as Ames Web Plus. And then you also have assessments that are occurring within curricular programs. We just recently started using IXL Learning in order to monitor progress for our students. And so it's really a collective system designed to make sure that we are informed about what we're teaching and whether or not our students are mastering what we're teaching them.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the NWEA, the really cool thing I really like about the NWEA tool is that the results are instantaneous, and it does offer you national norming, which gives you a feel for where you stand as a district, correct?
Yes, it's a wonderful assessment. We have done a lot of work to make sure that it is actually predictive of how students will perform on our state tests, and it has a high correlation and also is consistent from year to year across grade levels. So rather than changing dramatically from second grade to seventh grade, it's on a continuous scale. And so it's adaptive in terms of meeting students where they're at and seeing if they progress from that point. So we feel like it gives us some really good nationally normed information about both student achievement and student growth.
Yes, which has value, a lot of value to teachers. Well, I was told that you recently hosted a professional development training day. Tell me what staff learned during that training day. What was covered?
Our district training days this year have very much been designed, as I said, to focus around literacy. We formed a district literacy leadership team last spring that's made up of 34 teachers. Very interesting. They're from preschool all the way through 12th grade teachers, and they work in content areas including music and math and science and social studies, as well as language arts. So these teachers actually led our professional learning day on September 20th and will continue to lead our professional learning days throughout the year. Their focus as a committee and in developing these professional learning days is to really look at instructional strategies that work and then to make them specific and relevant to the teachers, regardless of what content area they teach. One of the things our teachers have told us, we surveyed them last spring, they want professional development that is relevant, that is connected, so it's not bouncing around to different topics every time. And that really gives them some practical strategies that they can walk away with and use in their classroom tomorrow. And so that's been a really exciting piece to see already, is that I have the pleasure of visiting classrooms regularly, and I see the strategies that were introduced in September at our professional learning day being used in the classroom by our teachers. And so that's a big change in terms of our approach to professional development.
Yeah. Let me ask you, I'll shift gears on you here a little bit, but what is the Ohio Writing Project, which you have partnered with this year?
Yeah, so it's interesting. We last year I had a chance to go to Oak Hills School District, and while I was there working with their curriculum department, they told me about the way that they were implementing a district literacy leadership team and how Beth Reimer from the Ohio Writing Project at Miami University was serving as a consultant for that team. I asked Beth if she would be interested in working with us in our district and our leadership team, and she was very happy to join us in the work. And so not only is she and her people at the Ohio Writing Project, are they coming and providing some professional learning experiences for our teachers on these district professional days, but she also is working closely with this team of 34 teachers, our district literacy team, to give us strategies, to share with us research, to model for us how we can use these strategies in our classrooms. And so we're taking everything, their knowledge and their experience, and passing it first through our district literacy team and then on to our teachers. So they've been a great partner so far, and we feel like we're getting some really high quality professional learning for all of us.
Yeah, that's quite a collaborative effort with a lot of benefits, I might add. Well, Leslie, let me turn to you. Can you describe your duties and assignments that you receive as the supervisor of innovation and instructional technology?
So I support the district's use of instructional technology really to promote innovation in teaching and in learning. I mainly do that by making sure our students and our staff have the technology resources they need for rigorous and engaging learning experiences. But another big part of my job is to plan and to lead professional development on technology integration for all of our staff in order to promote more personalized and differentiated instruction.
Yes, differentiated, sure. Well, tell me, what is the Level Up program?
The Level Up program is a series of challenges that our staff can complete. It's really meant to be personalized. So teachers, administrators, other staff have choice in either what topics they learn about, the mode in which they learn. So they may choose to learn by watching a video. They may choose to learn by reading an article or listening to a podcast, or they even have the option to request in-person kind of coaching or help on something. And then finally, they have choice in when they do their learning. And so then we have various types of challenges, achievement challenges, monthly challenges, and our Tech Tuesday challenges.
Mm-hmm. So it is quite an organized approach to that.
Yes, very much so.
Is Northwest Local Schools a totally one-to-one school district with tech devices in the hands of all students K through 12, or where does that stand?
We are. So we have a device for every student in the district. The model may look a little bit different at different buildings. So some of our buildings have carts in classrooms, whereas in other buildings, like our middle schools, for example, students have a device assigned to them. They pick them up in the morning in their homeroom. They take them with them to all of their classes and then return them to the cart in the afternoon. We're even piloting this year at Northwest High School with our juniors and seniors. Those students are assigned a device and they get to take those devices home. So we're piloting that to kind of work out some of the kinks, and then we're planning to expand that to provide more learning opportunities for all of our students.
Excellent. Yeah. Boy, this integration of technology is a huge game changer. I'm just curious, but do you have an estimate as to how many portable computer devices you have in inventory at Northwest Local Schools? Because I'm sure it's a lot.
For students alone, we probably have over 9,500 devices, and that does not include staff devices. So then in addition, you would have teacher devices, administrator devices, and additional staff. So that's just student devices alone.
Yeah. I know that what I'm about to ask you may be a most appropriate question for a classroom teacher, but I'll just throw it your way anyway. But do you think using technology in the instructional processes, does it tend to increase the overall level of engagement on the part of students? Because it's kind of like their house, you know what I mean, with technology in play.
We do. I think, our children are digital natives, meaning they've grown up with this kind of technology all of their lives. And so they're sometimes naturally drawn to that. We've found there are tons of educational resources out there that take learning and kind of turn it into games and things like that. And so in that way, it can engage students. So I always, when I talk to teachers, talk about technology as a tool in their toolbox. And sometimes, some days, technology might be the best tool to do the instruction they're doing that day, but other days it may not be. And so we also feel that the relationships between our teachers and students and between students to other students are really important. And so we really try not to have them behind screens all the time so that they have a mixture of learning experiences to meet all students' needs.
Do you ever disperse that learning experience by using ELearning Days at any point during the school year, whereby groups of students, in fact, stay home, if you will, and telecommute with their assignments, they're in contact with their teacher? Do you use ELearning Days?
We don't do whole e-learning days, but we do have several teachers that are doing more of a flipped model. So it could be where the teacher traditionally, the teacher would stand in front of the class and give like a traditional lesson or lecture to students. Students are taking notes, and then when they go home, they do practice by themselves, but they're not necessarily getting to collaborate with other students or get feedback from the teacher. In a flipped model, the teacher records themselves doing the lesson and then assigns that to the students to take home. The nice thing is that parents can watch those videos. A lot of parents want to help their students but aren't sure how to help. So parents can watch those videos. Students can pause the video, watch it multiple times, go back and rewatch things if they didn't understand something. And then when they come to class, that's when the practice happens. Kids are able to engage with other students and do the practice collaboratively, so they're learning from each other. And then also the teacher is able to monitor and respond immediately to when students may be struggling with practice right there in the classroom. So that's one way that we're kind of sending some technology home a bit.
So it's kind of a blended approach, if you will.
Correct, yes.
Well, very informational conversation today. These are important topics, and I'm pretty sure any engaged parent would find today's program truly beneficial. Good job on fielding my questions, and I'd like to thank both of you for joining me today here on SuperChat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.